The occasional spy story aside, the Cold War between East and West is in the middle of a thaw, raising the question, what will America do without an enemy? Enemies are useful to countries. People are motivated. They work together toward national goals. Enemies are convenient to leaders of countries. They focus attention abroad and not on problems at home. John Mack of the Center for Psychological Studies in the Nuclear Age says that enemies are traditional but not necessary, and that the end of the Cold War offers a great chance to do something about the environment.
What we need to test at this point is whether we can go deep enough into our higher selves, if you will, our spiritual possibilities, our capacity for transcending enmity to address the real problems that we're facing in the world now. The nationalisms that have divided us, they're obsolete in the current global context because the problems we're facing now, the environmental problems, the acid rain, the health problems, the deterioration of the ozone layer, the warming trend, these are vast problems that are causing the planet itself to die. So that's going to be the test that we're going to face, and it's important that we be able to bring our creativity to those problems. And the whole militarization enmity structure has just consumed the kinds of energies and imagination that we need to look at the problems that the world is facing all around us now.
Well, how would that work in your view? Let's say a parent is talking to a 2-year-old child or a 3-year-old child, and before there would be some mention of an outside enemy, some threat that is personified, how would the environment replace that very normal, very traditional threat from outside?
You might need to begin collaborative efforts to address these things in the school, maybe competitive efforts among schools to take on some of the more serious problems in the environment. There are beginning to be school courses and programs that look at how conflicts get resolved among young people without battling, and with collaboration, and with emphasis on new relationships and new kinds of connection among peoples. And that would have to go on first. It seems we can't just, as you say, shift gears and then now we're going to take on the environment. There has to be some education that moves beyond the traditional political enmity process. That isn't going to happen just because somebody, as you say, somebody says, well, now the issue is the environment.
But it would be, in your view, a move from the romantic and the mythical to the rational and the responsible.
Well, the romantic, and we need new myths that are also transcendent. Myths that are not involved with nonviolent myths, if you will, myths of heroism that address the problems of the world that we're in now. And the myths that fit the cultural realities that we have before us now.
Perhaps somebody could do some thinking along these lines to create the challenge to the environment as a myth. Maybe politicians and psychiatrists could meet with the Disney people, and they could give that challenge a name, and it could personify the worst of big business and greed and avarice, and stories and songs could grow up around that, and people could talk to their kids about it.
I like it. Let's work on it. It's a great idea.
We could call it Thor.
Yes. I was reading a film script the other day about a great creature that personified the environmental poisoning and degradation, and then but was not a person, but was a mythic figure, and then rising out of the sea, and then the heroic figures were those that were taking on this figure, and it in no way was connected with a personal enemy. It was entirely a mythic enemy, which is representing the poisoning and the destruction of our world around us. It's the first time I'd seen a film that actually created something close to what you're talking about.
John Mack, professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. He's the founding director of the Center for Psychological Studies in the Nuclear Age.